So since we're facing the Thunder this Friday, we're going from Hartenstein to Karl-Anthony Towns, and it's been a transformative shift for the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks, known for their loyal fan base and storied history, have consistently sought the right pieces to bring a championship back to Madison Square Garden. In recent years, team's progress has been marked by strategic acquisitions, Leon Rose, player development, Leon Rose's team. However, when the departure of Isaiah Hartenstein happened in free agency this past free agency, it presented a setback, given his vital role as a backup center to Mitchell Robinson. Losing Isaiah Hartenstein's unique skill set absolutely left a gap in the Knicks rotation. Fans didn't know what to do. But acquiring Karl-Anthony Towns shortly thereafter not only filled that void, but it elevated the team's potential to new heights. So what I want to talk about with this video today is I want to look at why examining Isaiah Hartenstein's loss and bringing in Towns as a replacement exceeded Hartenstein's production, and why the acquisition of Cat positions us now to be legitimate championship contenders for years to come. So, since Isaiah Hartenstein's coming back on Friday, let's talk about him. What was his impact on the Knicks? And I don't want to minimize it. He was an absolute glue guy. Hartenstein may not have been a marquee player, but his contributions to us as a team were substantial. He signed before the 2022-2023 NBA season. And Isaiah Hartenstein brought a mix of grit, unexpected grit, versatility, and hustle that endeared him to all of us Knicks fans. And I absolutely coached Tom Thibodeau. He was an elite passing big. Isaiah Hartenstein's passing was unquestioned. His ability was one of the standout traits that served as a weapon for us. Operating from the high post, he could find cutting teammates, or he could facilitate the dribble handoffs, and that added a fluidity to our offense. His ability to make quick reads allowed for players like R.J. Barrett at that time and Quentin Grimes to thrive in off-ball roles. He also brought rebounding and energy. He was absolutely key in that. 6.5 rebounds a game in limited minutes. That also underscored his relentless effort on the backboards. And his knack for securing offensive rebounds created second chance opportunities shoulder by shoulder with Mitchell Robinson. And that was critical for us as a team that often struggled with offensive efficiency. But his defense and his rim protection also stood out. While not being an elite shot blocker, Isaiah Hartenstein was an intelligent defender, and he excelled at positioning and contesting shots without fouling. He had like one block a game, and that may seem modest to you, but his impact went beyond the stat sheet, as his presence deterred opponents from attacking the rim. People tried him and they lost. All right. So this is why it hurt us to lose Isaiah Hartenstein. Not only was he a fan favorite, but when Hartenstein departed in free agency, the Knicks lost a versatile big man who excelled in his role as the backup center. His ability to anchor the second unit on both ends of the floor provided consistency and stability for us. Teams knew there was no drop-off when the second unit came in. And without him, the New York Knicks faced challenges such as what you hear now in the media, a lack of depth at center. Mitchell Robinson remained the starting center, but his offensive limitations and his injury history, we got to talk about it, congregation, we got to talk about it. His injury history made having a reliable backup imperative. Hartenstein's absence exposed us as the New York Knicks organization and our vulnerabilities in the front court. Next, there was a drop-off in playmaking. Hartenstein's departure also meant losing a playmaking hub of the bench. The Knicks struggled to replicate his ability to facilitate offense from the center position. And then next, something that was palpable was the energy and the hustle. Hartenstein's intangible qualities that Knicks fans fell in love with were his effort, his hustle, and his basketball IQ. These were difficult to replace. And his presence often sparked momentum shifts in critical moments. We saw that in our playoff run. So the arrival of Karl-Anthony Towns, we didn't know what we were getting. It ultimately became a new era of big man dominance that we see happening right now. The addition of Karl-Anthony Towns signaled a seismic shift for us. A 3-time All-Star and one of the most offensively gifted big men in NBA history. This is what New York Knicks fans are discovering right now in real time. Karl-Anthony Towns brings a level of skill and versatility that Isaiah Hartenstein simply could not match. I'm saying to put him down. It's a reality. He brings offensive superiority. Cat's offensive arsenal is unparalleled among big men, period. With career averages of 23 points a game, 11.2 rebounds, and 39% shooting from three-point range, Towns is a walking mismatch. His arrival immediately addressed multiple weaknesses that we had as a Knicks team. Weakness number 1, three-point shooting. The New York Knicks ranked in the middle of the pack in three-point shooting during Hartenstein's tenure here. And that was the piece that he wanted to open up a little bit more, but according to him, he didn't get that opportunity. It is Towns' elite shooting ability to stretch the floor, not only improving the New York Knicks spacing, but also unlocking our driving lanes for Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges. Also, he has the ability to drop in the post and score. While Hartenstein was a serviceable offensive player, Towns is a dominant scorer in the post. His footwork, his soft touch, his ability to draw fouls make him a reliable option in half-court sets. And then while he's down there, if he don't want to score, then he brings you playmaking. We're seeing now that Karl-Anthony Towns, 3 assists per game is a real thing. And it demonstrates his ability to facilitate offense. Like Hartenstein, Cat excels at finding cutters, shooters, but he does so at an all-star level. That's the difference. His ability to draw double teams and make the right pass adds a new dimension to the New York Knicks offense. This is what's making us elite. And you now see that he has elements in which he's really intentional about growing defensively. While Karl-Anthony Towns has faced criticism for his defense, he's shown improvement in recent years, specifically in the short time he's been here with the Knicks. His size, his rebounding, and his ability to contest shots makes him an asset for us in the paint. Additionally, when it comes to the future of playing alongside Mitchell Robinson, this is going to allow Towns to focus on team defense rather than being the primary rim protector. And this will maximize his strengths while minimizing his weaknesses. The same thing happened with Hartenstein. So if we're looking at it statistically, if we're trying to compare them statistically, Hartenstein and Towns, if we're looking at Isaiah Hartenstein and Karl-Anthony Towns, the points per game, we're looking at 5 versus 23. We're looking at rebounds per game, we're looking at 6.5, 11.2. Obviously, these are starter comparisons to backup comparisons. So it's really, we can go down the list with the rest of them, but the numbers highlight Towns' superiority in every offensive category, as well as his comparable defensive production. While Hartenstein provided solid contributions, Karl-Anthony Towns elevates the Knicks to an entirely different level. Now, if we want to talk about how Karl-Anthony Towns has transformed the Knicks, that's when we're talking about putting us in championship conversations. First off, he elevated our offense. With Cat in the lineup, the New York Knicks offense has transitioned from good to elite. His ability to stretch the floor and dominate in the post has now forced opposing defenses into impossible decisions. Pick your poison. You have the pick and pop. In that pick and pop game with Jalen Brunson, Cap, where Brunson's ability to attack off the dribble pairs perfectly with Towns' ability to pick and pop, and they bring that prowess to the table. This combination creates one of the league's most dynamic two-man games. So you want to talk about floor spacing? Then let's talk about floor spacing. Let's say with Mikal Bridges. Bridges now benefits from Towns' presence as defenders can no longer collapse into the paint without risking open threes. This allows Bridges to attack the rim with greater efficiency. So if you want to talk about improved defense, not necessarily one-to-one, but let's talk about improved defense by committee. Karl-Anthony Towns' addition doesn't just improve the offense, it allows the New York Knicks to craft a more balanced defensive scheme. If you watch them play on any given game, it moves on a string. Now you pair that with Mitchell Robinson when he comes back. And with Robinson anchoring the defense and Towns guarding stretch bigs or playing help defense, the New York Knicks have a versatile front court capable of matching up against any team in the NBA right now. And then that puts us in a situation where we have the rebounding advantage. He's reaching career numbers in rebounding. Towns' elite rebounding complements Robinson's abilities, ensuring that the New York Knicks will be dominating the glass on both ends of the floor when that man comes back. So we talked about regular season. This brings playoff implications as well. Towns' ability to take over games offensively makes the New York Knicks a more dangerous playoff team. And unlike Hartenstein, who was limited to a complementary role when he was here, Karl-Anthony Towns can be a primary or secondary option in crunch time. Who you gonna guard? But then let's talk about the intangibles that we were doubting when we were thinking about getting him. Beyond the numbers, Karl-Anthony Towns has brought star power to Madison Square Garden now. His charisma and his ability to deliver highlight reel plays make him a perfect fit for the bright lights of New York. Who knew? We didn't know. And with that being said, the man has a quiet leadership, even a vocal leadership, and he brings experience. Towns' experience as a franchise cornerstone equips him to handle the pressure of New York. His presence also has alleviated the burden on players like a Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby. Okay? Or even those young players trying to get time. And you could tell that we're excited as fans. While Hartenstein was beloved for his effort, Karl-Anthony Towns is a player who sells tickets and headlines. His addition to the New York Knicks has signaled to the rest of the league that the Knicks are serious about championship contention year in and year out. So Karl-Anthony Towns has been more than replacement, iHeart. Losing you in free agency was a blow to us. We'll give you that. Given your versatility and your hustle and your defensive reliability. Yes, I'm talking to Isaiah Hartenstein, okay? But the acquisition of Cat not only replaced you, my brother, and your production, but it provided us with a transformative player capable of elevating us to legendary heights in this league. Karl-Anthony Towns' elite offensive skill set has improved the defense and the ability to shine in high pressure situations. And that makes him a perfect fit for our system here with Tom Thibodeau for the second go around. He's more than just a replacement. Karl-Anthony Towns represents the evolution of not only the New York Knicks, but the league and its gameplay, and legitimate championship contenders we are right now. As New York Knicks fans, we dream of returning to glory. Karl-Anthony Towns stands as the player who can turn that dream into reality for us. What say you? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. And remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli, everybody eats. I am your boy Sheer, and I'm out. Peace.